right, welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning into Boston Fashion Week 2020. We're doing it a little bit differently this time due to the pandemic. We are here virtually and in your home. Today we have lovely, lovely guests, makeup artists, stylists, designers, and also photographers. And today we are going to start with Andrea Abella Marie, who does voiceovers, makeup, actor, model. And we're going to introduce her. Say hello, Andrea.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Abella Marie. It's nice to meet you all. I'm so glad to be here in Boston Fashion Week at Home Edition.
Correct. Now, why don't you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself and what your skills are? You are an actor, a model, you do voiceovers, I hear and see. So what tell us about that?
All right, so I have been modeling for about 5-6 years now. I started off in the Dominican Republic, actually, and then I brought it back to the States. I have been doing acting for about 3 and 4 years now, and I have been on a couple websites and radios. I have done a little bit of voiceover work, music videos. So I have a lot of experience in of Fashion Week, photography. I have done California Fashion Week. I've done New Hampshire Fashion Week, Rhode Island Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. So I've been to the East and the West Coast.
That's fabulous. Now, what do you like most about modeling?
Honestly, I like that it builds confidence.
Now, what would you give advice to people to gain confidence? I know I just did a shoot on Sunday and my confidence just went out the window as soon as the camera went on me. So what kind of advice would you give to people to find that inner confidence, just to have that fierce look?
Honestly, I think it helps when you, especially for me in particular, when I wear my contacts, I get my hair done, I get my makeup done, and then the second I put on that designer's clothes, it's sort of just like something that clicks in my brain, and it's like, I look awesome, I look great. So sort of that positive affirmation will also help somebody gain confidence. It's like, you know, look, I'm a boss, I'm fierce, I look great in these designers' clothes.
Right.
All of those things help.
Now, do you have a favorite designer that you would work with anytime they ask you to? And these designers, we won't mention them, but what do you look for when you model for designers?
I honestly don't have a favorite designer, but I have recently done a couple designer photo shoots. One I did just yesterday with EJ Battle Design. I was really super excited about that because it was a wedding styled photo shoot. I really enjoy wedding photo shoots. I enjoy film noir photo shoots. I sort of like the ability to get into character. So whatever photo shoot comes my way, the ability to get into that character's role or whatever clothes I'm wearing, to get into that kind of characteristics of the clothing is something that I like the best. So it's a large variety.
That's good that you have a wide range of everything. So can you tell me if you're with an agency or do you do freelance? How did you get inspired by someone telling you that you should be a model, or you went into it on your own?
I actually was inspired by somebody. I was sort of always interested in modeling, but when I was in high school, I was told I was too short. So I sort of let that prevent me from modeling for a while. And then when I was in the Dominican Republic, I did a photo shoot on the beach, and the woman really was like, "Oh, you take direction really well. You should become a model." And so I was like, you know what, when I get back to the States, I'm not going to let anything stop me, and I'm just going to go for it. And that's what I did. And I haven't stopped since. So I turned my nose into motivation.
I love it. Taking a negative into a positive is definitely the spin that everyone should go with in their life. And I see that you are recently engaged. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've done a couple of engagement photo shoots, so those are always fun. And like I said, I really enjoy my wedding photo shoots, even if it's just by myself in a wedding dress. It's fun to look at.
You have to plant the seed, right?
Yes.
So where can we find your skills, your talent, your style, your everything? Do you have a website, social media? Let the people know so they can stalk you.
Yes, I can be found on both Facebook and Instagram, and it's hashtag Abella_Marie on Instagram, and on Facebook, it's Andrea Abella Marie, same thing, Facebook, Bella_Marie. So you can definitely find me. I'm out there. I'm also unalignable.
I love it. Any last words that you want to get out there to the world?
Really, it's just to remain positive and upbeat, especially during these times where we kind of have to change things around, and sort of never give up hope, and just always pursue and chase your dreams, no matter what anyone tells you.
That is advice that everyone needs to follow, including myself. So thank you for those words.
You're very welcome. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes. All right, so next up we have the talented photographer, the one and only Robert Parris.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you? It's always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes. So why don't you tell everyone that doesn't know about you how you got into photography? I know you were going back and forth to Boston and Atlanta. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, grew up in Boston, then I moved down to Atlanta, and then I came back to Boston and met up with a friend of mine at a store. We just kind of ran into each other. We just started talking, and he was working there, and he was working with cameras, and we just started talking, and I kind of went through my background with cameras and said, I need to get a new one. Ended up walking out the door with this big DSLR camera, and kind of got back into I grew up around cameras all my life. My mother was a Polaroid, so she would bring stuff home, and I'd play with it, that kind of thing. So I've always been around cameras, but I really didn't get into it seriously until probably about maybe 9 years ago, and then I kind of snowballed. It was a hobby, helped out friends, which and next thing you know it, I'm doing so it's been a fun ride.
Now you're working with a couple of things under your belt. Now you have your own photography studio called Monster Jazz Photography. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and where is that located?
I'm based in Quincy, and it's Monster Jazz Photography. I've been here for about 5 years, and things are going pretty good. It's slowed down because of the pandemic, but we're still plugging along.
Now you are working with Dream Rose magazine. You are that magazine's exclusive photographer, or one of them, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I work with Dream Rose Lifestyles magazine. It's a regional magazine, talks about lifestyles, fashion, makeup, and hair, and all kind of different things. And I'm I'm the main photographer. I'm the director of photography, and but we do work with other photographers as well.
Now, how do you get that shot? How do you get that shot? Are you here now where you can just take one and done, or are you still critical of your work? Are you I don't want to say OCD.
I'm very critical. I'm always critical with my work. There's a certain way you get better. I look at it differently than somebody else is going to look at. I think I can always do better. I try to always do better. And plus I love shooting fashion. That's my thing. I like shooting fashion. I've worked with Andrea a few times, and definitely also at shows and things. So, it's I love what I do. I just love what I do.
Now, when you get hired to take photographs, do you also do the locations? Do you also do the props, or do you let the models or the designers kind of take?
It really depends.
Just to take the photos.
It really depends. If I'm doing a model's portfolio, we'll do some in the studio, we'll do some on location, and we kind of figure out. We'll sit down, we'll talk, find out what she's trying to achieve. Okay, and then we look at different areas that we can work out of. When it comes to the magazines and the newspapers, if they're going to do something special, depends upon what we're doing. I shoot a lot down the Cape. We go to New Hampshire. I'm definitely, in town in Boston. It just really depends upon what the project is about. I have some favorite places I like to go, but you can't shoot them all the time because you don't want the background to be the same. So it just depends upon what the model wants to do. If we're doing her portfolio, I kind of let her take the lead to a certain extent, find out what she wants to accomplish, what she needs, let it be a headshot, let it be editorials, things of that nature. And then if that, once we figure that out, then sometimes I'll just go out and I'll do some location checking, drive around the city, find different places, things like that.
Sounds good. Now, what kind of fashion do you like to shoot? Do you like high fashion, runway fashion, ready to wear fashion, bikinis, swimwear? All of them. You have no favorite.
I can shoot all of it.
Do not discriminate.
Most of my business is high fashion editorials. I work with a lot of designers. I do a lot of their websites. They want to sell products, things like that. I've got a couple of smaller boutiques that I work with. But most of it is fashion and fashion events.
Okay. Now, where can we find your photography? And before we talk about that, speaking of editorials, what magazines and publications have you been featured in that we might know or have seen before and we didn't know that it was your photography?
Well, it's been a lot. I've been in the Boston Globe a few times. I've been in the Boston Herald numerous times. I've done, of course, I'm with Dream Rose. I've been seen in Style, Boston, just local stuff.
Okay. Now, why don't you walk us through a typical shoot at Monster Jazz Photography?
Well, if we're going to do say we're going to do like a fashion shoot for a designer, the designer usually brings their clothes in. We'll do a quick fitting, make sure things fit, see what needs to be fixed, with clamps and hems and all that kind of good stuff. I check the hair and the makeup. I talk with the stylist. I'll talk with the makeup person to make sure we have the right look that's going to fit that garment. I bring in the designer, see what they want to accomplish, and and we kind of just all get together, plan it out, and then we go into the studio, turn the lights on, and then we start shooting. We do poses. We
Now,
front, back,
have
side.
you ever had a model have a complete meltdown? And if you did, how did you handle that?
I think they usually start. Sometimes they'll start off nervous, but you play their favorite music. You're
Right.
laughing and joking. I try to make it fun. I understand it's business. I let them know, yeah, this is business. We got to get this done, but let's have some fun. Let's laugh, let's joke. That type of thing. Sometimes they make funny faces. I put them up on the monitors. That kind of thing. Just to have some fun.
I agree with that. Now, tell everyone where they can find your talented pieces of art.
Well, of course, you can definitely go to my my website, monsterjazzphoto.com. You can also catch me on Facebook, Monster Jazz Photography, and then on Instagram, which is where I post a lot more stuff, is going to be Monster Jazz, the number 4 and the letter U.
Okay. Now, are you still taking appointments or clients during this COVID, or are you trying to stay away as much as possible and only working with people you already work with?
I'm taking appointments, definitely. We wear the mask, we've got the plexiglass. We make sure we do the 6 to 8 feet in distance. So I use different lenses, so we have a good distance, ahead of us. But yeah, I'm taking select appointments. I don't allow, some people have to do the family thing and all that. I don't allow more than 2 or 3 people in the studio just because of the pandemic. So I've done like some couples. Again, I've done, a lot of models haven't really gone out and shot because of what's going on. So they've connected with me and say, look, I need to get some stuff done and keep my name out there. So I've done that. And same thing with, with designers. I'm doing stuff with a lot of designers, getting their fall collection up and running, for their websites, things like that, because they're not doing the shows, but they still show their creations. So, we work in the studio, right. We'll go out on location and do that.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for your time, Robert. I'm sure I will see you around again. Thank you.
I'm sure you will.
All right. I guess next up. Sorry. Next up, we have Taylor Greeley, who is a stylist. Taylor, why don't you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Taylor Greeley. I am a fashion stylist represented by Ennis Inc. in Boston. I style ad campaigns and editorial shoots for a lot of the clients that are based here in Massachusetts or New England. I've done campaigns for Converse, Reebok, New Balance, TJ Maxx, Yankee Candle, and a bunch other fashion clients like that. And I also do editorial fashion spreads for magazines, whether it be magazines, and most recently I did a cover story for Vogue India.
Well, that is incredible and amazing, to say the least. Now, did you go to school to do this, or did you just have this natural talent and you went with it?
When I was in high school, I took a fashion interior design program as my elective because I went to like a vocational high school. So I knew I wanted to be in the creative industry from a very young age. And after high school, I enrolled in a program at a local community college to do home staging. So I actually started in home staging and interiors. And after building up a portfolio of all these projects that I'd worked on for that and personal and just all the other creative things I'd done, I eventually found myself styling full time.
Do you want to walk us through a moment in which you just were super proud of yourself, the first moment that you did your styling, perhaps maybe for one of the editorials, or actually, you know what, let's talk about the Vogue. I think everyone wants to know about that. What was that like?
It was really exciting just to know that Vogue of any sort would be interested in working with me. It's always a challenge pulling for something like that and communicating with the whole team, especially communicating with your client that is in India. You guys are on different time frames and you're trying to send looks back and forth to each other and be on the same page. So it's kind of a little bit of mind reading as well as, you know, taking what you think the client wants, but giving them what they didn't know they wanted. Overall, it was really fun, and it's going to be a cover for this fall for their Woman of the Year issue.
Oh,
so
no. Now we can
it's very exciting. The woman is a famous economist. So she is the person that is really dictating what the economy is going to look like after COVID. And she's a professor at Harvard, a really intelligent, beautiful woman. So it'll be very exciting to see.
All right, well, why don't you tell us about the pictures that Pete is throwing in the background here and walk us through that.
Yeah, I basically just kind of went through and pulled a bunch of sort of random photos that just showcase what I do, my personality and that sort of thing. I do have this incredible archive of clothing here, and that is me in front of that archive of clothing that I use to style models and vintage collections that I have. These are some of my covers and some of my popular work from the past few years. I styled this particular photo for Converse.
Love it.
That was like a holiday thing we did. We shot that in New York City. It was really fun. This was with one of my favorite photographers. His name is Doug Mott. He and I have been working together since the very beginning. And that's my headshot taken by Anthony Grissetti. He is a great photographer in the area that does a lot of awesome model development things. That is a little still life. I do still life as well as fashion, and that was for TJ Maxx.
Love it. I love TJ Maxx. Who doesn't?
Doesn't love TJ Maxx. They're great. And this was with a local boutique called All Too Human. And that was just really cozy. And then I like to get more creative. My friend Diana and my friend Mark and I created that. This has been in my book for a while, but I just really, really love it. I shot this in Miami. It was one of my first editorial shoots that I've ever done. So I'm pretty proud of that. That was a throwback. I wanted to give a little shout out to Boston Fashion Week. That was a couple years ago at Boston Fashion Week.
Woo.
This is a latest project, one of my later projects that I've just done. We shot that in my studio here.
Love it.
That is me here in my studio space. I do see a little comment here that I just want to address. It says, if Taylor, did you reach out to the businesses that you collaborated with, or did they reach out to you? What advice would you have to models that would like to be able to work with such businesses? So I am represented by an agency, the same way that a model is represented by an agency a lot of times. So essentially what happens is a client may come to me, or they may come to my agency, either or, and want to work with a stylist or myself in particular. And from there, I coordinate with my agent to make that happen. My advice I would give to any models that would like to work with big clients like that is to build your book always. Just keep creating, make beautiful images, do it because you love it. Maybe you want to go to an agent and say, hey, here's my book. These are all the things I've done. Will you represent me? And just kind of approach it from that way.
Very well. And where is your studio located?
My studio space is in Lawrence. I'm from Lawrence, and I have a studio in one of the old mill buildings.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I've heard good things about that building. A lot of artists' lofts are there, correct?
Yeah. And we're right next to the Essex Art Center and Acting Out, which is a cool local community for young up-and-coming actors.
Perfect. Now, where can everyone find you in case they want to get styled by the magnificent stylist that you are and prove to be?
Thanks. You can find me at Tayglow on Instagram, and that is TAYGLO. No upper cases or anything like that, just Tayglow. And Taylor Greeley Stylist. And I just want to quickly introduce the Greeley Girls, which is my business with my aunt and my grandmother, who are both incredible fashion influencers.
I love it.
Yeah, the three of us do really cool photo shoots together. My aunt is my assistant, and that's called the Greeley Girls. So the GREELEY Girls. And we're on Instagram.
All right, perfect. Make sure everyone goes and takes a look at that. Next up, we have Yomi Rivera, who is a makeup artist. Yomi?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I am well. So why don't you tell us about how you got into makeup?
Oh, God.
Where to start?
Yeah, where to start? Basically, at a young age, when I was like 13 or 14 years old, I attended a modeling school, and most of my friends didn't know how to do makeup. So I was always the person doing hair, makeup on other people, myself. And I liked it so much that in high school, I also went to a trade school, and I started off with taking the cosmetology program. Then from there, I went to Blaine. Then from there, I ended up taking makeup artistry at Emerson. And from there, and then from there, I ended up moving out of state, going to Shore Beauty, which is also run by Redken. And then I started doing the aesthetics program. And yeah.
So you do hair as well?
I do.
So what kind of looks do you like to do when you do makeup? And what kind of, I guess, can you choose what kind of face or canvas, I want to say, that you can do makeup on, or what's your preference?
So when I studied makeup artistry, my passion was high fashion, and all I wanted to do was work on runway and, high-end pictures that had to do with fashion. And I ended up working in Atlantic City Fashion Week. I ended up doing New Jersey, part of New Jersey Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, Boston Fashion Week, Philly Fashion Week. I started, working in a lot of different fashion weeks, and in different states, Rhode Island to New Hampshire and stuff. I'm sorry that I forgot those. And yeah, and then I started,
It's
work,
fashion. You don't have to be, so it's okay. You can
yeah,
still-
we worked with a lot of photographers, and with time, this is where we are. Um,
So how long have you been doing makeup again?
I've been doing makeup professionally since 2012.
Wow. So where can we find your websites and social media?
So everything that I have is under Makeup by Yomi. So to find my website, it will be www.makeupbyomi.com. My Instagram is also under Makeup by Yomi, and my Facebook page is also Makeup by Yomi.
Okay, let's take a look at these photos that you submitted. If you can tell us more about it in the background and the day of it. So this look, what's this look?
So this one was actually done with Billy Pops. There was a feathery, I don't know what to call it, scarf type of material, and I just put them together and I glued them to her, threw color on, and that was how the idea came. There was another one that is actually, it has like a face mask, and that one was actually done by hand. It was shaded and sketched by hand.
Oh, wow.
This one that looks like a cone, that was
Yes.
for the Autism Project Runway, which we won first place with Let's Be Real Fashions.
Oh,
She
wow.
created a puzzle piece garment, and I created the headpiece. We had to recreate that look 3 different times, and it was seen in blue, red, and purple.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, it seems that you like to work with bright colors. Do you also work with dark colors, or when it comes down to the two, which one do you prefer to do makeup with?
So basically, it depends on what type of makeup I'm creating at the time and what it's for. On a regular client, I will do a natural look on them, and it will be all nice toned colors. If I'm doing something that is more like theatrical, then I would use more bold colors. If I'm doing something that is more for fashion, then it all depends on what they're wearing that day, what the whole outfit consists of. But generally, I basically do everything, including special effects and everything.
Oh, no way. I love when makeup artists know how to do special effects makeup. Now, let's ask a question for you. For the first time that you were a professional makeup artist, when you first got your gig, walk me through what that process was like.
The first time that I started doing makeup artistry, I basically found a gig with a photographer. I made a deal with him that I was gonna do a lot of work for free in order for me to get an image.
Correct?
Which was a trade shoots. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the person got paid and that money was never passed on to me.
So it was a lesson that you learned not to let that happen moving forward, I bet.
It's a lesson I learned. And I also, every time, I talk to somebody who's new in the business, I say, it's always good to start that way, start doing trade shoots with people to try to get, some of your work out there. But you also want to be careful if the person is also charging for you and not relaying you the money that they're getting paid for, unfortunately. We all have to be mindful of what we're doing and how we're displaying ourselves in front of others. But business is business, unfortunately, and you have to keep going.
Well, we have to take the good with the bad. So why don't you remind everyone again where they can find you, and thank you so much for taking the time tonight and let us know how you just make everyone look like magic. These photos are just blown away with the makeup artistry that you do. It's just enchanting.
Thank you so much. Once again, my website is www.makeupbyyomi.com.
All right, perfect. And now next up, we have a video of Sarah Anzalone of her thrift shop. Stay tuned. So I love the name Serendipity for your thrift store. Tell me how you came about that name, other than it's your name.
Yeah, well, it did take a while kind of to get to it. My parents definitely helped me out, kind of play with some ideas. There was a few things I was like, maybe Sarah Sews or something, but then my parents actually growing up, they used to always sing to me like serendipity doo-dah day. So it's just kind of a childhood thing. So it just was perfect for this.
Now you're doing a launch in November. Is that still happening, or is that on hold because of unfortunate pandemic corona?
No, actually, I have a website launch date of November 6th. It's very well and happening. So just been working towards it. Just been photo shoots, taking donations, working on revamping the clothes and fixing them up. So.
Now, what kind of clothes do you look for to put in your thrift shop?
I look for streetwear and loungewear. I'm trying to consider the fact that we are all in a pandemic, so I do look for comfortable clothing for those who are staying at home, and then also, some going out for the people who are, going out safely to restaurants and whatnot.
Okay. Now, what made you want to open up your own thrift store?
Well, about a year ago, I started really getting into sustainability by, just going bulk grocery shopping and doing little changes there and here to use less plastic. And I really wanted to, create something for sustainable fashion. I really believe that this is the future of fashion. To save on materials, I use very minimal new materials. Sometimes I'll replace a trim or something, or buttons or anything to kind of give the clothes a new life. So I really enjoy, just giving clothes new life.
Now, were you always a thrift store fan all your life, or did you get into it later? Did someone else put you on to the big secret, or?
Well, I definitely have been in and out, going thrift store shopping, sometimes there and here, and then also at the mall, I go back and forth. But, I do see a lot of my friends who will donate their clothes just because maybe there's like a small tear and it's such an easy fix, or just things that have lost trend, but you can just change it up to make it in trend again. I know bleach dye is a huge thing, so I started bleach dyeing leggings and jeans, and so.
The ripped jeans, you can just rip them yourselves. I remember when I was younger, I would buy, the expensive ripped jeans, and my mom would be like, "What happened to your jeans?" I'm like, I bought them. She's like, "You can make your own," because she's, a flower child, so she had the patches and all of that. So is it a consignment shop or just strictly a thrift store? You're accepting donations, so I'm gonna guess it's not a consignment quite yet, maybe later on.
Yeah, so I accept donations as well as do my own thrifting just to make sure that I'm keeping, the style that I want it to have.
Okay.
So a little of both.
Now, what's your price range? Is it high end or anyone can walk off the street and
Yeah, no, not at all.
No?
The whole reason why I really wanted to do this is because I wanted it to be affordable for everybody. So the price range can go from, anywhere from $12 on sale to $68 if, depending on how much time and effort that I put into the piece and fixing it or completely, flipping it. I consider the materials I use and my time.
Okay, well, let's talk about a little bit about your personal life. Where are you from? And did you go to school for design, fashion, or just comes naturally?
Yeah, so I'm from the Worcester County area, and I went to school at Mount Ida College for fashion design.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right. So where can we find your magnificent looks, style, grace, fashionista looks? Forget TJ Maxx. We're going to shop at Serendipity from now on.
Thank you. Yeah, so everything's quite simple. It's just Serendipity Thrift Shop is my Instagram, and same with my Facebook page. And I already have my domain, so serendipitythriftshop.com will be.
Oh, good for you. Definitely the domain name. I've heard sticky situations in which people try to buy domain names that people just bought just to buy. So, all right. Well, on that note, I'm going to thank you for your time. I'm definitely going to look on your online launch on November 6th. And just remind the viewers again where they can find that launch.
Serendipitythriftshop.com. I also have a question here. It says, do you sell men's and women's clothing? So as of right now, I sell on my launch date, it will have women's clothing and shoes available, and I plan to have menswear by January.
Perfect.
So.
All right, you heard it here first about Serendipity's thrift store launch on November 6th. Next, we're going to introduce Patrick Provida Thomas. Patrick, how are you today?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. Why don't you tell us a little bit why they call you the Provida?
Because I got it all for you. If you can, if you need it, I can find a way to provide it for you. But that was a different thing. So right now, the Provida fashion is the same vibe, but in the fashion industry.
Okay.
I've been doing event planning and producing. I actually owned a store that was originally called Provida Fashions, actually a Provida Clothing. That's how it all started. And then I've elevated and then started event producing. That took off. And
okay, what do you tell us about some of the productions that you put on and the events and what that was like?
I've done something at the, what is it called? It was this candy shop on Morrissey Boulevard. I forget the name of it. Phillips Candy House. I did something there. That was my first one. And then I did something at in the Carter State. I did something at Lars Anderson Art Museum in Brookline. Boston Strand Theater. Here at Marina Bay. A bunch of different things. I've done New York Fashion Week. A bunch of different places. The list goes on and on. But I mean, I just like to see, my whole thing is I just like to see people come together and have a good time, and I respect the arts and craft of the fashion world.
Now, what would you say sets you aside from the rest?
A straight black male from Mattapan Projects.
Into fashion. Say no more.
Fashion. You ever heard of that before?
You're the first of the kind. I'm sure there's others out there, but they're hiding. You're the one who's in the spotlight now.
Nah, they're not out there. But so that's the answer to that question. What you got next for me?
All right, well, why don't you describe and explain what we're looking at here with the different photo shoots and the fashion shows that it looks like is popping up on the screen.
Well, these are videos that I created. This is a fashion show.
These. Love it. Okay.
Right, this is at the Boston. This is at the Lawn Edison Art Museum for my initial Boston Fashion Week event. The original, this designs, as you see, I have everything did it. I edited this film myself.
I see.
Legit. And I was actually back there as I was producing the event and event planning and coordinating. I've hired somebody to film the event, but I actually edited myself to break it down for this single video. I'm kind of hands-on with a lot of things. I've been a model coordinator, like a director of photography, film. I've filmed videos and edited myself, event produced. I haven't done makeup or hair yet, but
there's still time.
there's still time.
There's still time.
You said it right.
All right.
So I mean, I do all the casting and everything. So I just kind of be hands-on with a little bit of everything. I love the creativity of it all. And I actually came up with the choreography for that runway scene that we just showed.
Oh wow! So you just wear many hats. You do it all. So that's what keeps you aside from everyone else and makes you different. You just do it all. You're a one-stop shop, pretty much.
I try to be. I try to be. I mean, it's kind of one of the hard things when you are used to doing things alone is to delegate and to trust people to do the job that they said they can do. You know,
a lot of people say they can do things and they just can't. But you deliver, which is very rare, unfortunately.
Right. The same way you delivering that dress you wear. I'm proud of you. Keep the good work.
If this dress is actually by Jack Attack, and it has a train. So I've been wearing her dresses for the past, well, yesterday I wore her other dresses, and tomorrow I'm wearing this big red finale dress. So if you are interested in working with her, I would suggest you check her out tomorrow when she is interviewed by moi tomorrow night.
I will definitely check her out. This is
yes, it has like a gothic looking. I mean, I don't know if you can look in the back. It's her corset or is her signature, pretty much, and the chains.
Corsets is always
good.
The thing about corsets is like it is kind of gives that whole shape, and it just kind of outlines you. It's like the dark crayon. You know when you color a picture, that dark crayon line that you do before you shed everything light in the middle. That's what the corset does for women.
Huh. All right. Well, where can we find? Do you have a store now, or is it all virtual and online?
No. The store, the way it started was I actually started providing clothing by making T-shirts out the back of my truck at the time and selling them in Cardinal Square in Dorchester. And then a lot of women started coming to me asking me for these type of shirts, and then I got invited to do fashion shows. And then I made them enough money to say, let's open up a store. I opened up a store, and then I scratched the T-shirts and kind of just started selling women's fashion. And I opened up a store in Brockton, then another one in Grove Hall. And then it was very trivial and tough to deal with the store. And then as I was promoting the store, I started doing fashion shows. And the fashion shows kind of took off a little bit more than the actual store. So the store's been closed for quite some time. I have put things in different, in other people's stores and used it to, to style models and things to that nature. But the store's been closed, but I've been focused on pretty much fashion, event planning. And even recently, I've been doing more political producing, with Taylor Andre. And like we just had Jane Elliott come to Boston for her first time last year.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Is there anything coming up for you? I mean, I know the COVID pandemic is putting everything at a standstill, but you seem like you're a hustler and you have some things up your sleeve. So I think you should tell us what you got going on next.
Yeah, I always got something up the sleeve, but that's why it's up the sleeve. So when it comes down and turn into a watch or something, you're gonna watch for that. But
Wait.
yeah, it's one of those things. But no, I haven't done a fashion event in a little bit of time, but I've been watching and paying attention to everybody that's out there, and I've been loving what I've been seeing. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
So checking out the competition.
No, I've been checking out my counterparts. Everybody is an inspiration.
That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, I'm in my own lane, and I stay out of the way of everybody else's lane, and I think we all can complement each other. Boston is the number one sports city in the country, and everybody always feel the need to be in compete with each other, in competition with each other, and I think there's a lot of space and room for everybody to do their own thing and build together.
I really like how you say that, because a lot of people don't have that same philosophy. So you are going to go very far, not that you need any confirmation on my end, but having that attitude is definitely what Boston fashion needs more of.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're very
it.
welcome. Now, where can everyone find your styles, your looks, everything about you? Where can they find you online?
I'm in social media world. Instagram is Provida Fashion. Facebook is Provida Fashion. Provida Fashion. Google it. Yay.
Google it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And we are going to the last, but certainly not least, EJ Battle, who is a designer. And I'm still curious to know more about EJ Battle, because unfortunately I haven't really heard about him or seen his stuff. So don't take that the wrong way, but I'm very curious and I'm all ears for you to tell me everything there is to know about you, EJ. Welcome. Hello? Did we lose him?
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Annora?
I am well. How are you, EJ? I'm guessing E is for Earl?
Yes, it is. It's funny. I've been going by Earl for the longest time, and then I changed my Facebook account to EJ Battle, and then people who researched me started calling me EJ Battle. And
Yes, I'm the same way. My name's Annora, but I changed it to AC, and now I'm going back to Annora. So we're on parallel universes here.
Yeah.
All right, so introduce yourself.
My name is EJ Battle. I'm actually a transit, or I would call it transit. I'm actually from Jamestown, New York. I moved here when I was about 24 out of college. I've been doing pattern work and alteration work before I even got out of high school. And once I moved here to Massachusetts, I started doing private stuff for people who wanted different things like costumes and evening wear and bridal wear and stuff like that. And then I sort of moved into the clothing design area, where I started designing stuff for private clients, and then also teaching class in construction and pattern making and draping.
Oh, wow. So what kind of look, what's your signature look, would you say, for your fashion? If I went into a store and I saw something, I could say that's definitely EJ Battle Designs.
Ooh, since most of my stuff is private clients, it would be hard to say. It'd probably be more or less the mixture of textures.
Okay. So what kind of
like this the back, how I use this lace with this satin fabric, or actually chiffon fabric. And then there's different textures on different things. So I tried to stay away from black and white, even though it is some are in there. I tried to do mixed textures, even the blue here with this blue stripe, this blue and the stripe that had large stripes on the white, large white, and then stripes in the back.
Perfect. Now, do you make designs custom for people, or do you make ready-to-wear designs
Ready-wear designs, but I also do custom wear as well. So if you came up and you had an idea, I basically sit down with you, sketch out the idea, and then tell you pointers. You know, this would look good on you. We might want to change this because it's going to bring you down. And I basically sort of design style with the person.
Okay. Where do you get your inspiration from?
I get my inspiration for everything, but it also depends. I also look into the bank account and say, hey, do I have enough money to spend this amount of money, or do I have the fabric already? Usually I go out and I see something and I buy it and I store it for later. So I'll go into my fabric closet and I'll say, hey, I got enough here. I'll take that all out, start mixing and matching, and then I'll put a whole collection out of it.
Now, do you have an exclusive fabric outlet store that you go get your fabric, or you're open to get your fabric anywhere?
I'm open to get my fabric anywhere. I've shopped New York, California. I've done fabric from Atlanta, New York, and even online fabric. So I basically search for whatever idea I have at the time, and then I start searching for fabric. And then if I have some fabric in closet, I'll match it to some fabric that I've gotten online or I've gotten out of New York.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us about any shows or events that showcased your looks, and tell me what I'm sorry, this chain is strangled.
Well,
Tell us about what feedback was when people see your designs first off.
I just finished a bridal show actually in March during the main point of the pandemic. It was in Connecticut, the bridal show, but it was already planned. So I did a whole bridal collection, and in that there's a vendor section. And in the vendor section, I had people who are always commenting, who got my number in my card to get a particular dress. I did a hand-beaded dress that everybody loved, but it was sort of on a stretched netting, and they wanted to make sure it was white on white instead of the neutral that it was on. So I do a lot of pieces that people love to see, and I try to stay within a comfort zone, because there are some people who always think they have flaws everywhere. But as a designer, you want to hone in and have them look at their flaws as beautiful as well.
Now, do you make men's clothing as well? And if you do,
Yes.
do you wear your own styles?
I do men's stuff.
It's funny because I was eyeing that the whole time. Men's fashion.
I did in February 2015, I started a men's collection, and I wanted to take the suit that everybody wears, pants, shirt and coat, and rev it up a little bit or change it a little bit. Like I have an asymmetrical zipper on that zips up so it crosses in this. And I did a whole show. I think it was called Walk the Runway in Dorchester, and it featured the men's collection in it. So it was all different kinds of suits, jackets, pants, and tops that were not the normal tops. So I did a shirt that had a black, it was like a gauze shirt. It was black, but it had a lion's print that was done out of gold, and you couldn't see it until you moved around in the light. So it showed when you hit a light a certain way. And then I did one that had a cutout, a burnout, which was basically, it was a floral burnout. It was black on black, and you couldn't tell it was floral again until you came up really close, because the way it was, the way they burnt it.
I am your new fan, and I'm going to be looking at your stuff. I'm just eyeing that jacket. Of course, it's men's, but I used to wear my older brother's clothes when I was younger because I just love men's fashion.
I wish I had the picture. There was a girl when I did the menswear who wore, she didn't want to wear a dress. She wore a men's outfit. So I had her in this, it was a turtleneck. There was a long turtleneck that came up about here and was scrunched down around her neck.
Oh,
she
I love it.
Jacket and another pair of pants. And that's how she went out.
I love it. I love it. Well, do you want to let us know anything other than you being a fantastic designer?
Well, thank you. I want to know that we're here to do, and I say we, myself and I, but to do your design. If you have an idea and you want to get a pattern done for it, or you want to create it, we do that. So we actually will, like I said, sit down with you, look at these things and see how it can be produced and produced to the way you like it. And I have, and I like to say I have 3 sections. So I have a teaching section with patterns and design. I have a design section. I also have a text section. So I do that as well. And so I can do the pattern and the samples for you. I also am coming up, we just finished, like Andrea just said, a bridal section that we just did shots for at the Asian Waters Mansion. And I'm working with the makeup designer there. We're going to do a holiday section of design. So I'm feverishly working on that, to get that done and out so that we can do a whole new photo section of that.
I love it. So where can people find you online if they want to learn how to do designs and textures or to buy your great garments?
They can go to battleofearl.com. Yeah, that's a play on my name, battleofearl.com. And that's www.battleofearl.com.
Well, fashion is a battlefield, right?
Yes, it is, but it's fun.
It is. It really is. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I think that wraps up everyone. And I think we're going to open up the forum for anyone that wants to say any words.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm glad you get the chance to see it.
Yes, yes. Anyone, if you want to connect, now is the time because everyone is on camera. So photographers, if you see a model or a designer, you saw a model or a stylist, now is the time to make friends and network.
All right.
Great. Everyone's work was fantastic. I am just blown away. I've seen some of you out and about, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you out and about once we can actually leave our homes.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody. Patrick, nice meeting you. We'll have to talk sometime.
Yes, we will, brother. I appreciate you. I want to shout out my boy Ryan from D2 Photos. Shout out Pete, Sarah, Annora, Andrea, Robert, Yomi. Thank you so much. Josefa da Silva. You guys are a blessing to me, you know, and everybody stay safe and you know, let's get back to it, man. The art is life.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Pete, for putting this on.
I think Pete's really happy that we're 4 minutes ahead of schedule.
Thanks, Pete.
I definitely want to say, you know, I've worked with EJ before. He's got some great stuff. I pretty much worked with everybody here except for Sarah and Taylor. I'm looking forward to meeting with them and talking to them, finding a little bit more about what they do, and hopefully we can collaborate sometime and, you know, put some things together. But it was good to see everybody, and again, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Me too.
Thank you. And Yomi, we have to get together too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Yomi, you do some great stuff. I'm a big fan. I told you that a long time ago.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Let's do this.
Pete, any final
2021, whichever. Sorry.
No. Let's make. All right.
All right then.
All right. Andrea, you're pretty quiet.
Yeah, I was just kind of like typing in and being like, I thought everyone's work was fantastic, and I've made sure to connect with everyone that I was able to on Facebook and Instagram, and I would absolutely love to work with everyone again, or if I haven't worked with you before, for the first time. I've definitely worked with Yomi and EJ and Parris, Robert Parris, so
yeah,
definitely I like the collaboration and the work we do and the artistry, so it's always a great time and I always have fun.
Sarah, I have some clothes for you.
Oh, awesome. I will take them. Yeah, thank you for having me on here, and this has just been great meeting you all, and some of you I've seen before, Earl. Yeah.
I got a question for Sarah. Sarah, where are you based out of? Where are you? Any place? Are you in the Boston area or suburb? Where are you based?
Yeah, I'm in the Worcester County, so I'm about an hour from Boston.
Okay. And then Taylor also. Taylor, you still there?
No, she's gone.
Oh, okay.
Just ghosts like Swayze.
Yeah.
She's
All right.
busy working another job.
Um,
All right. Well, Pete,
Right.
Oh,
Father Time.
we
What's
can't hear
going
you,
on?
Pete.
what was the question,
Thank you
Annora?
so much.
Your volume is low, Pete.
Yeah, can't hear you, Pete.
Let me try this again.
Now.
How's that?
There you go.
Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight here on the show. This is like a first of a kind type thing that we're doing. I usually work behind the scenes on a fashion show, but because of the pandemic, we're doing this remote controlled here. I want to tell all the panelists to sit tight and relax for a moment. And anyone at home tuning in on Zoom here, if you have any questions, feel free to mention it in the comments here.
It'd be nice things.
Really? Say nice things.
No questions? I'm surprised.
I know.
Always questions.
Yeah, no questions, no nothing.
Okay.
I guess
All right.
very informative then.
We must have done a great job, everyone.
And answered all the questions. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in tonight. All the panelists can sit tight for a moment here. We're going to roll the end credits and we'll be right back.